Hey everybody, it is Rose Bouquet coming at you, and it's Labor Day weekend, and I'm at work, so I have to work on Labor Day. But today we're going to talk about something that nobody really likes to talk about. It's not a fun topic at all. For me personally, it isn't, and for most people, it probably isn't either. So, one thing that is my Achilles heel, I guess you can say, is that I really, really, really hate cleaning. And a lot of people won't admit that they don't like cleaning. And, I watch all these cleaning videos on YouTube thinking to myself, yeah, I mean, looks amazing. The before and after pictures, I'm like, oh, I just wish I had the motivation to clean like that. Um, and also the physicality, because I have herniated discs in my back, so I can't physically clean as much as they do in those videos, the cleaning videos I watch, but they are so satisfying. And I'm just like, day by day goes by, and I'm just, how am I ever going to do this? Life doesn't come with manuals and help guides and things to show you the way, I guess you could say. So you have to kind of figure it out on your own. And if you're just not a person that naturally likes cleaning, your house is going to become messy. So, and that's what happens in my case, is my house becomes messy and I get overwhelmed, and then it just gets worse and worse. And, I usually just take out like the garbage and then I just don't wipe anything down. I don't clean the rest of the house. I just really try to do the bare minimum, because the last thing in my world I want to do when I come home from work, especially after working 8 hours a day, I work a full-time job, is clean. But the problem with that is it hinders the rest of it causes a lot of problems in your life that you don't even realize. You can't really have company over. You can't really have repair people over. I'm supposed to have a 3-point inspection on my house. I'm literally losing $100 a month because I haven't had the people come out, because I can't get my house cleaned up enough to where I feel comfortable having people come out. So I came up with a plan, and I like to say, if I can do it, you can do it, and I truly believe that. I absolutely hate cleaning, and I love watching cleaning videos, and I'll sit around a bunch of trash and watch cleaning videos and be like, oh man, that's so amazing. Now, I'm not a hoarder, so if you're a person that likes to hoard things and save things, and you buy a lot of things and you hoard, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just general cleaning, house duties. They don't teach you this in high school, but I came up with something called, you can do anything you hate for 10 minutes a day. Seriously. It's, if you set a stopwatch for 10 minutes, and if you absolutely really hate cleaning, you can do 5 minutes. The law of physics is that what goes in must come out, or what goes up must come down. And even though, what's that saying, the tortoise might not win the race, or the slow and steady wins the race, you're not in a race to clean. I mean, what I've done and what's been working amazing for me is I come home and I set a stopwatch for 10 minutes. And that includes going to get garbage bags, going to find cleaning products. I'm stopping at 10 minutes. I don't care what it is. I'm actually looking at the stopwatch while I'm cleaning, because I hate it so much. I'm like, oh man, how much longer do I got? And I'll run over and look at the stopwatch, and it still works. I got 2 bags of garbage out of my house last night that I would have never done had I not implemented this plan. So what you do is, instead of you looking at your whole house and being like, oh my God, this will probably take me a day or two to clean, like all day cleaning. Nobody wants to do that. It causes anxiety. You won't even start doing it. At least for me, I won't even start the project because I just look at the overall mess and I'm like, holy crap, I'm not going to ever get this done, But there's 24 hours in a day and you're probably awake for, 10, 15 hours of that day. You can take 10 minutes. And like I said, if you absolutely have to do 5 minutes, that's fine as well, depending on how messy your place is. Any minutes that you can put on a stopwatch to clean is going to make a difference. I've been doing 10 minutes. I did 10 minutes yesterday. Like I said, I got 2 bags of garbage out. That's a lot in 10 minutes. And I was just going at medium speed. So tonight, I'm like, okay. And then you pick a spot in your house that needs cleaned and you only clean that. And I can clean other people's houses, but not my own. So this is extremely hard for me. I have to force myself to do it. But like I said, for 10 minutes a day, you can do anything you don't like, right? Like that's nothing. It's 10 minutes. You set your stopwatch, and that's what I do. And again, I run back to the stopwatch. I'm like, how many more minutes do I gotta go? And then when I'm done, I'm like, it's over. And I'm so tickled and happy at what my progress is in that 10 minutes. It's like unbelievable what 10 minutes can do. And even 5 minutes, if you absolutely have to start with 5 minutes, don't be afraid to do that either. It's fine. Anything, you can do 2 minutes even. For me personally, I have a lot of back problems, so my back starts locking up because last night was floors. So I was picking up everything off the floors and I got all the food packages out. It was so great in the kitchen. And then tonight, when I get home, I'm going to be cleaning off an end table in my living room that I never fully clean off. I clean off the trash, but I don't clean it down to ground zero and like wipe it off with Windex. And so I'm going to be doing that. And then if there's any time left over, I'm going to tackle the kitchen table. But I don't know if there'll be time left over, and that's fine. Doesn't have to be. But the point of this podcast or this vlog that I'm doing right now is that no one tells you that, right? Like they're just like, oh, clean your house, you slob, Some people just do not like cleaning. It's like not in their blood. They don't like it. It's like the last thing they want to do. And it's a hidden secret, right? Like if you have a wife that likes cleaning, that's great. Or if you have somebody that likes cleaning in your family or somebody that cleans your house, that's wonderful. But most people don't have that. It takes motivation. You have to have motivation to want to do something like that. And a lot of us don't have it. We're just like, well, especially if you live alone like me, you don't have that motivation. You're like, well, I'll just throw this here. Nobody's going to see it. It's fine. It's just, nobody's going to see this. Nobody comes over. It's no big deal. Well, do that enough times and your house gets trashy, messy, right? I mean, that's just the law of physics. Well, nobody tells you how to combat that. And I can tell you that if you clean, well, like I said, as long as you're not a hoarder, I'm not talking about people with like boxes and boxes and boxes. That's a different situation. And again, you can still clean for 5 or 10 minutes a day if you're a hoarder, but you have to want to clean. And my whole thing's not hoarding. It's just cleaning in itself. I don't like doing. But yeah, if you put 5 or 10 minutes or even 15, depending on your stamina and how much you got to do and what you feel like you can do in a day, you can do anything you hate for 5 or 10 minutes, right? Like, that's nothing. And like I said, I ran back to the stopwatch 2 or 3 times. Like, oh my God, when's this end? But at the end, it was over. And the 10 minutes was over. I didn't overexert myself, but I got a lot done. And it's just crazy to think that Nobody teaches you this in school. You don't learn this in life. I mean, you can look up things and they'll be like, oh, we'll just do in little intervals. But I'm telling you, it really works. Pick one spot in your house that you want to clean that night. Like, have it in your mind that you're going to do this area, just that area, and spend 5 or 10 minutes. Set a stopwatch, because if you're like me, you really hate it, and you're going to be like looking at that stopwatch like, oh my God, when does this torture end? Because it's actual torture for me to clean, especially my own house. Like I said, cleaning other people's house is kind of fun, because it's not your mess. You haven't been sitting in the mess. But if it's your own mess, it's just, I don't know why, but psychologically, it's just so much harder to clean your own house, in my opinion. I don't know what the psychology is behind that, because I can walk into anybody else's house, literally anyone else's, and be like, yep, let me clean this. And I can clean for probably hours somebody else's house. But at my own house, I just can't get the motivation to do it. So, but this is what's been working for me, and I just wanted to share that with everybody, because it's something that nobody really likes to talk about, and I understand that. It's not a fun thing to talk about, or admit that you just absolutely hate cleaning. And there's ways to overcome that, and it's not as it's you will be absolutely thrilled if you do that. If you, like I said, if you absolutely have zero like I have a little bit of motivation just because I have, I need to do the inspection on my house and I have people that want to come over. But let's just say you have absolutely no motivation to clean it whatsoever. Just do 5 minutes then. You don't have to do 10 minutes. 5 minutes is fine. You're still going to clean up quite a bit in 5 minutes at a medium pace. But I do 10 minutes. And then once your house is actually cleaned up, then you can go down to 5 minutes every other day, like basically just taking out your trash, or maybe wiping down a counter, or, cleaning up a mess that was made, or cleaning out the fridge a little bit, or maybe doing some laundry. Once it's clean, it's not hard to, maintain, in my opinion. Well, it still is, because it's going to be weird when it looks clean if you're not used to your house being clean. And then you're going to be like, oh, well, I can just throw this down here. It's no problem. I'll just throw this little, toilet paper, roll on the floor. It's no big deal. Like, I'll clean it up later. And then, suddenly you have 20 toilet paper rolls on your ground because, you're going to do that later, and you have bags in your ground. If you're like me, I take the toilet paper into the bathroom, the whole thing, and I just sit it in front of the toilet. And I that's just how I do it, because, well, I have back issues, so I don't keep it in the cabinet. I keep it right by me, and then, I just use it, and then once the roll's done, it just goes on the floor. I don't care to throw it away. I have no motivation to do so. But if you implement this, I swear it's actually life-changing. I came home last night and I told my boyfriend, I'm like, I got to do this. It's 10 minutes. I promised myself. And it's fun. It's actually like, it becomes like a game. Like, oh, let me do this for 10 minutes and see what I can get done. Like, is this actually going to work? And it does. It's crazy. It's like Rome wasn't built in a day. And what is that? I forget that saying, the tortoise, slow and steady, even though he's not fast, he still wins the race. It's exactly that. It's exactly what you think. It really doesn't take a lot to keep your house clean. And then once you, like I said, I'm doing the 10 minutes. Once your house is actually clean, I don't know how much, it depends on how big your house and how much trash you have. So you just start doing 5 or 10 minutes a day. And then once it's actually cleaned up, then you can like reduce it down to like 5 minutes every other day, just taking out the trash, or maybe wiping down a counter, or, cleaning dishes, or whatever the case may be. It really works. It's crazy because, you walk into a house and you're like, and you're the only one there, and nobody's going to save you, most likely. I mean, you can hire maids and stuff, but they charge so much money, you know. It's like insane amount of money. And if you don't have the money, plus it's embarrassing. And also they're not going to clean it like you're going to clean it. Like, you know, you have certain things that you can't really throw out, most likely. So really you have to do it yourself. But if you set that stopwatch, I'm telling you, it's life changing. Because you know, when you look at your mess, you're looking at hours and hours of cleaning. But if you do 10 minutes a day, it's so doable. It's so motivating and it's so fun. It's like you did something you absolutely hate and you did it, you know, just because you set that stopwatch and you know you're only going to do 10 minutes or you're only going to do 5 minutes or you're only going to do 7 minutes or you're only going to do 15 minutes, depending on how young you are. I'm a little older and I have back problems, so that's why I do 10 minutes. But if you're a little younger, you can, you know, even maybe up it to 12 minutes, 15 minutes. But you can do anything you hate for that amount of time a day. You know, you can do something you absolutely loathe for that amount. I hope this helps somebody or motivated somebody. I really, really do. Again, if I can do it, you can do it. It's definitely took a lot out of me to begin this process and to come up with this plan. Even though everybody tells you how to do it in your life, you're like, oh, just do a little each day. You know, nobody really told me to do it that way. But just setting the stopwatch is really amazing. It really keeps it in perspective. You're not going to be spending your entire night cleaning. You're going to get your house clean. It's just going to take a little bit longer than the average person, but it's still going to get done and people are going to be amazed and you're going to be amazed at yourself. I hope you guys are having a great day and stay safe, and like and comment below if you have anything to say. Have a good one. Bye.